From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
What can I say except you're stuck home and you need a little Disney fix? Hey, it's okay, you're not alone, and that's why Phil's doing this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast. My name is Phil Gramlich. I'm the owner and the founder of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney specialized travel agency. And listen, I hope you're doing well. I hope you and your family are safe, feeling okay. Everyone is doing great. And if you're listening in the future, hopefully 6 months or a year or 3 months from now, you're doing well as well. And the reason I'm saying all this is because we're right in the middle of the whole quarantine in March of 2020 for the coronavirus that is going all over the world. I'm not going to go more into it. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea why the show intro is the way it is, why I'm not plugging my services right now, why I'm not asking you to book a trip with me. Listen, I just want to be here and let's have fun and put out some fun stuff. So this is going to be a word of the week episode, and I know it's not just one per week, but whatever. So this week's word of the week is brought to you by the letter S. S for skeleton. I want to tell you this week about a lesser known story about a skeleton in the Magic Kingdom. Now, this has been told by a bunch of Disney historians online, like Jim Hill and Jim Korkis. This isn't my original story, but I'm going to tell it in my way, and hopefully you enjoy the heck out of it and share it with other Disney fans that may enjoy it as well. And from what I've been told from other people and from my research and for people who have told the story through the years, this is a totally true story, but I won't use any names or suspected names or positions or anything really to give it away. But apparently this is 100% a true story, and it's fun. So it's all about the skeleton and the castle. So as the story goes, back in 1995, so we're going back 25 years, a new manager came to Magic Kingdom, and this certain manager liked things done his way. He wasn't extremely friendly, he wasn't very cast conscious, and he was making life very, very difficult for the maintenance team in the Magic Kingdom, so difficult that he wanted to overhaul everything they were doing because it wasn't up to his standards. So some of the managers that worked directly for this higher level manager decided, look, something's got to happen. We have to do something to take this guy down a notch or two. So the maintenance workers learned that this new Magic Kingdom manager was a bit of a Disney history nerd. Sounds familiar, right? It wasn't me. I was never a manager at Magic Kingdom. Anyway, and in the summer of 1995, Disneyland out in Anaheim buried a time capsule in the ground in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. Now, this was during Disneyland's 40th anniversary, and the idea was they were going to open it back up at the 80th anniversary in 40 years. Well, the Magic Kingdom manager, the one who no one got along with, said to those who were his direct reports, man, I really wish we had something like that here at Magic Kingdom. I really wish we had a time capsule to bury that we could open in 50 years or 100 years. This is when one of those maintenance workers, I'm going to give him a name. We'll call him Mickey. Not his real name, obviously. Mickey saw his opportunity. So he said, and we're going to give the new manager a name too. We're going to call him Pete. Again, not his real name. So he says, Pete, Walt Disney World originally at opening day was supposed to have a time capsule buried right in Cinderella Castle. And Pete says, no way, Mickey, really? That was supposed to happen? And Mickey's like, yeah. Mickey said, yeah, there's still a space where the time capsule was supposed to go. For some reason, it never happened, but you can still go see the space. He said it's a big opening, and unfortunately, it's covered up by a metal grate right now. But it's there, and we might be able to do something with it. Now, Pete, he falls for this hook, line, and sinker right away, and he says, Mickey, I would love to see that space. I'll bet, because I'm such a good manager and a good worker, that I can even get my bosses to let me put a time capsule in that space. I'll bet I can get that done. So Mickey says, you know what, Pete? I'll tell you what. Get here early at like 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well before the guests get here. Meet me at the walkway in front of Cinderella Castle. And I'm going to take you in and I'll show you this spot. I'll show you this vacant part of the Cinderella Castle where the original time capsule was supposed to go. And man, Pete is excited. He's like, oh man, yeah, Mickey, I'll be here. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll even bring my camera and I'll get some pictures of that space so I can show my bosses and really have a great presentation for them. So Mickey's like, yeah, all right, 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'll see you then. Now, what Mickey knew that Pete did not know was that there was no time capsule spot for Cinderella Castle ever. It wasn't planned. What there was, though, inside Cinderella Castle was an unused space for an HVAC unit. It was an empty space that was covered up with a metal grate and had never been used for anything inside Cinderella Castle. So Mickey put his plan together pretty quickly, and he called Walt Disney World's central shops where they have a lot of the props for the attractions and shows. And he asked, do they have any skeletons around? And it just so happened that a bunch of skeletons had just come in from Pirates of the Caribbean to be refurbished. So Central Shops loaned this gentleman, who we are calling Mickey, a skeleton. Then Mickey called costuming, the costuming department for Walt Disney World, and he asked if there were any old custodial uniforms in the costuming department. Well, according to the story, it just so happened that someone had an old, dirty, beat-up, ratty-looking 1971 Walt Disney World custodial cast member costume, and they also lent that to Mickey. Now, just remember, Mickey wasn't just any cast member. He was someone who was able to get these things. So Mickey picks up the skeleton from Pirates of the Caribbean. Mickey picks up the old custodial cast member costume, takes him back to his office, and is able to put the skeleton, to dress the skeleton in the custodial costume. He then takes the dressed skeleton, hides it in a duffel bag, and waits. This is a true story. This is what I've been told. And waits until the park is closed. Once the park is closed, he makes his way through the utilidors to Fantasyland, goes up a staircase, comes out in the breezeway in Cinderella Castle. That's the area that you can walk through that has the murals on either side, the murals of Cinderella. That is where this grate is located for the quote-unquote time capsule. So he looks around to make sure no one is watching. He unscrews the grate from the wall, takes the skeleton out of the duffel bag, lowers it into the unused HVAC unit, screws the metal grate back into place, and quietly leaves Magic Kingdom. The next day at 6 a.m. sharp, Mickey meets Pete, who's brought his camera right out in front of Cinderella Castle. They go together to the grate on the wall, and together they both use screwdrivers to unscrew it from its resting place. Once the grate is off, Mickey pokes his head down and looks into the space and tells Pete, man, it's pretty dark in there. Here's my flashlight. Why don't you get a look and see how deep it is? So Pete very eagerly takes Mickey's flashlight, shines it down into the space, the HVAC space below, and all he can see are the skeletal remains of a custodial cast member who was unknowingly sealed into Cinderella Castle in 1971. Mickey freaks out, starts screaming. They said he screamed so loud that they could be heard. His screams could be heard all the way in Frontierland. And it took several minutes and several people to calm Pete down. Well, word kind of got out pretty fast that day. And as the story goes, Pete eventually had to apply for a transfer and get a position in a different park because everyone at Magic Kingdom knew him as the guy who fell for the old dead custodial cast member in a time capsule trick. So if there is a moral to this story, my friends, it is to treat people kindly. You never know who's going to stuff a skeleton into a wall and scare the pants off you someday. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this story. This one was a lot of fun, and I like to tell it. So if you did enjoy it, please just tell someone about the show. Share it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Listen, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope these episodes are just a little bit of a distraction and fun, and I hope you're enjoying them. I'm going to keep putting out as many episodes as I possibly can. I aim for one a day. We'll see what happens. I have 3 kids at home. I'm sure you have your hands full at home as well. So until next time, until next episode, take care of yourself. Thank you so much for listening. You were awesome. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Ear to there, ear to there.